Hey everyone, and welcome to the September edition of 3030. Thank you all for being patient. Unfortunately, we are hitting some technical difficulties at the moment with the deck that is up now is uploading the new deck. So I apologize for that. Our platform just had a little bit of a glitch to it. But hey, whatever, man, right? We can do it live. So as this is uploading, I'm just gonna go into it because I know everyone's here and I want to make sure that we use your very valuable time wisely. So what are we going to be covering today, right? And again, hopefully we will have the visuals up in a couple of minutes. So right now there's been a lot of volatility in the in Google's algorithm. So we're going to talk about that, of course. We're going to talk about how you can recover between core updates, which is something that's a little bit interesting because most of the time, people think that you really only recover from a core update when another one rolls out. We're going to be talking about a new hybrid featured snippet and how-to schema thing that was spotted by Brody Clark, which is pretty cool. Another, indexing issue from Google, which is a total bummer. Bing, Google increasing taxes in the UK, Turkey, and Austria. This has been a big focus of conversation for the last few weeks. So I want to talk about that a little. I'm going to be talking about hreflang and Bing coming out and saying that it's actually a weak signal for them. Why am I talking about Bing? Because actually this is something that relates back to a conversation that I had, that I've been having with a couple of folks about hreflang in general. So I want to talk about that. And also, and there we go, here is the thing. Everyone, thank you for bearing with me. And for last, we're going to talk about the core web vitals and how Google has said they were unlikely to become the primary ranking factor. So, hey, let's get into it because we only have 30 minutes and less than that. So, number one, lots of volatility going on lately, right? So over the last week, there has been a ton of movement. And again, when Google rolls something out, we all know, and everyone who's joined the program in the past knows that Google turns the dial up and turns the dial down, and as it tests things, right? But for this, for the last couple of weeks, this has been sustained. Usually Google is kind of in and out, and they just kind of get, they're kind of in and out, lasts for maybe a week, as they're rolling something out, maybe 10 days. But this feels like it's been a little sustained over the last couple of weeks. And what I've been seeing on my side is that, you can see that Mozcast has been kind of consistently up for the last couple of weeks. SEMrush's, volatility sensor as well has been peaking for well over a week at this point. And what I'm seeing is a lot of changes in SERP features. So we are noticing that site links are down about 2.5%. There's been a decline in knowledge panels showing, again, all down about 2.5%. Decline in people also ask snippets, which is down about 2%. Less ads have been showing at the bottom of the page. That's been down about 6%. But there's also been an increase in local pack results, which is up about 2%, and an increase in review snippets, which is up 3%. I actually haven't talked to a lot of folks who've seen any major traffic impacts or ranking impacts, but we're definitely seeing some SERP feature impact here, which is interesting, right? Because that's one of those things where Google is constantly shifting between SERP features and what they want to show to folks to create the best experience. But at the end of the day, seeing that site links are down 2.5%, that's a ton. Knowledge panels, people also ask being down 2% is interesting because for anyone who's joined the program in the past, that I've actually seen a lot of people also ask increasing over the last year or so when one of these core updates goes out. And usually, these things are around your money or your life, keywords. I'm not really seeing that on our side here. I'm seeing the SERP features though. So all this information, kind of bringing it all together with the sensors going wild all over, just showing two of them here, and then looking into Searchlight data and seeing what type of SERP features we've seen volatility in. Been really interesting to see that. So definitely keep an eye on not just like traffic and rankings. Look at your SERP features. Are you seeing, answer box results, missing? Are you not showing up for as many site links as you used to? The ads at the bottom of the page down 6%. That's interesting. I'm not really sure how many folks are clicking on those. But the local pack results being up and review snippets being up 3%. That's super interesting. That we're seeing volatility like that. So definitely keep an eye on that. And if anyone has any, good stories or anything that you're seeing, shoot them over to me. I'd love to talk to you about, because again, sustained volatility is not really my friend, not really your friend. And it's even, still today, I'm still talking to a lot of folks who are seeing a lot of things, like folks who are tracking a lot of stuff daily. They're seeing a lot of this change day to day. So it's really been interesting to watch, to see that sustained volatility. So keep an eye on your SERP features. That's pretty much the moral of the story on this slide. Okay, this was an interesting one. So Barry Schwartz, the fine proprietor of Search Engine Roundtable, was talking to John Mueller, right? And, Mueller was coming out and he was saying that, that Mueller, they were talking about recovering between core algorithm updates and if it was possible, right? So, and John had came back and said that it is possible to recover in between core updates. This is very hard for me to swallow, but just to give you the details, when asked if he was, sites can recover between core updates, he said, and I'm going to read this word for word, that can definitely happen. The important thing to know is that if the site is negatively affected by a broad core update, that it doesn't mean you can't do anything, that you can't do anything, that you have to wait it out. And then he went on when they were talking about like updating, regular quality scores and things like that. There are kind of things that kind of require us to rethink how to calculate a score, but a lot of times we can recalculate the same way using the new data that we have. Meaning that if you update your page, let's say you get hit by a core algorithm update, you update your page, you don't have to wait for the next algorithm update to come. Google reprocesses it in real time. And then again, asking about certain situations needing a core update to have a site refresh fully. So some kinds of really strong changes when it comes to core algorithm updates do need to kind of wait for the core rate to be reprocessed again. So that is something where on one hand, something really big might be things where you have to wait for us to be able to reprocess things and take a new look at the way we want to consider relevancy. But many small things along the way essentially can be adjusted over time. For me, guys, this is just not true. I don't know, I understand what he's saying is that, if you get hit by an algorithm update, you can update your title tags and Google comes and crawls that site and reprocesses it, right? But, for a lot of people who get hit by these, we're talking core algorithm updates, not just daily core, not just daily algorithm changes. I think that he is kind of leaning too far into like the daily changes and things of that nature where, yeah, sure, you get hit, you get hit during an algorithm, like a big core algorithm update. You see a bunch of pages full. What can you do? You can make the page faster. You can update your tags and your content, make it more relevant. You can fix technical aspects of the set of pages, things of that nature. And yes, you can see increased performance. But when a site gets like decimated by a core algorithm update, I'm sorry, I have never seen any evidence that that they just recover, in between the next big core algorithm update, which is kind of what he said in the third statement. So he's kind of he's not contradicting himself, but he's basically just saying basically the classic SEO, well, it depends, right? Like that's kind of like a very long-winded, it depends answer. And, for the most part, Barry went on to ask him, about this. And, he just said, I didn't realize we had written it up like that because he had said that because in Google Webmaster, on their blog, they say that you do have to wait until the next broad core update. So then John went on to kind of, dance around and say, well, that's awkward. There's a mix involved. And again, that comes back to the it depends. And this kind of set off the flurry, and people started coming in saying that, I don't think, John said anywhere before the next update, you would see your website traffic recover. Then, Barry ran a poll, and most people, more than half of folks, said, no, you cannot recover. Marie Haynes jumped in, obviously very prominent SEO, very, 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 very smart woman, came in and said that, that she was checking, but you say that it's very unlikely to make a full recovery after an update until the next core update happens. Lily jumped in and said, basically said fully, I'm in the no camp, which is where I sit. Of course you can recover to a degree, but you cannot fully recover. I have never seen a site fully recover until after a broad core algorithm update. And of course, Glenn Gabe comes in and he says, the dangers of telling site owners they can fully recover without a broad core update is that some can roll out changes, test for a bit, and then roll them back if they don't see improvement. But those might be the right changes, and a broad core update would reflect that. Very good point. But then again, I think this is what he what he posted out there, which I felt kind of tied the bow on it, is that here's some screenshots, and you can see that like when a core algorithm update happens, you know, like you see the decline and then you see ups a little bit, like you can improve a little bit, but then another core algorithm update hits and you can get decimated. It's just the only time you see big swings like this is during core algorithm updates. And yes, in between, can you improve, marginally in between? Of course you can, but you're not going to see like a full, like big bump up unless Google rolls out one of these big changes, reprocesses everything.